I also have a piece of Schedule 40 over there.
PVC. Yes.
Let's talk. Why don't you grab that? Let's talk about that.
Yes. So,
Where would we use this in a house?
so when people, a lot of people think PVC piping, and me too, I think, outdoor sprinkler systems, irrigation. So yeah, this is primarily used in a lot of outdoor sprinkler piping and such. But in this is Schedule 40 PVC, which is a pretty thick wall PVC pipe, maybe a little tough to tell.
Yep.
So it is a thick wall and pretty, relatively durable material when installed, with care. So this actually, it is approved in Los Angeles to run Schedule 40 PVC from the water meter to the house. So you could do a water service.
I've seen that.
From the water meter to the house. Generally, what you would want to do, I would probably transition to copper, before it comes out of the ground, just to make it like a little more rigid coming up, and so the sun's not hitting it. Mm-hmm. But I have seen it's coming out of the ground for like 6 inches, and they'll put a male adapter, and then transition to like brass, and then a copper.
Yep.
So I've seen that. So you are allowed to use this for a water main, water service from the meter to the house. And of course, less expensive than running copper pipe, way less expensive.
Now, would you say that that's across the board in Los Angeles as far as being able to use that?
I remember I checked like 5 years back, and I think it was LA City who was approved. I don't remember if it was LA County. Okay. I'd have to kind of check back.
When I see that, I make a note of that they should have a plumber determine whether or not that's allowed, because I just can't tell.
Right.
And remember, I can only see a little bit of it.
Right, a little piece maybe at the meter and a little coming out of the ground.
Yeah. So.
And overall, it's a good product, but you're more likely to get a problem eventually from like a tree roots pushing it. If it's too close to a tree, the root could lift it and cause it to crack and leak. Or if one day someone's trying to plant a tree in the front yard, they could break it with a shovel easier by accident. So really, copper, for that, from the water meter to the house is the best, just because it's very durable. And
yeah, that's something I always suggest, that they upgrade that. I'm not a big fan of seeing that going from, and once again, I know what pressurized means, and I know what it can do because I've seen the damage if it fails.
Right.
So I always go for the stronger, more reliable type of a pipe. But you know what? I see this stuff. I'm not saying it's always Schedule 40, but a lot of landscapers run it under the house.
Right, that's what I was gonna touch bases on next.
I point that out all the time. That's a no-no.
Right. So you're allowed to use this, underground from the meter to the house to service water to the house, but that's kind of where it stops. You're not supposed to use this to distribute water, under the house, getting from the front of the house to the back of the house. That should be copper, more rigid material.
Right. So you don't, for number one, you don't want this in your water supply system.
Exactly. You don't want this like under your house, feeding fixtures or feeding water to the water heater. You want that to be copper or PEX. Right. So this primarily you would see from the, the water meter to the front of the house. And then on the exterior, you would see it supplying sprinkler valves is fine for your outdoor irrigation. Right. But you really don't want to see this going under the house
for the irrigation.
For the irrigation in the backyard, or for hose bibs coming out, or whatever. You don't really want to see this under the house.
I've seen some very creative plumbing from gardeners with that stuff.
I've seen it too.
Into the garage, over the garage door, down, outside again, and then they leave it exposed all the way across the yard.
Right.
Come on, guys. You're supposed to bury it. And it shouldn't be in the house in the first place.
Right, they try to run it under the house because now they don't have to break concrete or on the exterior or dig through the dirt or whatever. So I've seen it a lot too. Yeah. But it's technically not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a higher quality material under the house for sure. Right.
So what's your opinion on this type of irrigation pipe being regulated?
So the piping itself is very strong. It says right here it can handle 480 psi at 73 degrees Fahrenheit. But really, you're not going to see those types of pressure. You're going to usually see like 125, 150, 175.
What about the fixtures attached to it?
But yes, so where we get the trouble is the sprinkler valves. Inside of these valves, it's like a rubber diaphragm and rubber washers that hold back the high pressure. So what happens is a lot of these sprinkler valves on the top of them, they'll say they can handle 150 psi. Sometimes the plastic ones even say that, and don't believe it. It's not true. So if you're going to have no regulator, the best sprinkler valves you could have are the all brass ones. They do the best, in my opinion, at holding back the higher pressure. But really, if you have high water pressure, over 100 psi, you're going to want to get a pressure regulator on your irrigation. And the reason is, especially with the plastic cheaper sprinkler valves, the high pressure, it's going to cause issues with those valves. It's going to end up the valves are going to end up leaking and water passing through when you don't want them, and you're going to get a high water bill, and things are going to, and they're a lot noisier too. Things are going to end up happening.
Yeah.
So you definitely,
that's a good point. Yep.
Yeah. High pressure.
It's no different than the pressure on faucets and fixtures in a house. They're going to have their limitations depending on why they're made.
Exactly. Another interesting thing I learned about, too much high pressure going to your sprinkler system is that, when the sprinklers themselves turn on, when the pressure is like extreme, like 125, 150 pounds, it shoots a fine mist coming out of the sprinkler heads. Like a real fine mist is coming out because the high pressure. Yeah. And the wind catches it and it just blows it into the street, onto the sidewalk, onto your car.
Oh, that's a good point.
But at a lower pressure, like 65 pounds, 65 to 80 pound range, it lets out larger droplets of water that are heavier, and they fall to the ground where the grass is, like they're supposed to. And they're not getting caught in the wind, blown away. So just
that's good input, man. Thanks for that. Yeah,
gosh, kind of a lot.
Landscapers, you guys getting all this? Because I'm telling you, man, a lot of you guys don't do a good job on your landscaping with these pipes. I see it just messes with these all the time.
Yeah, no, you'll notice if the sprinklers are running at like 80 psi, it's a real nice system. But when the pressure gets too high, it just something looks off.
Yeah, regulate your water, everybody. That's the takeaway from today. Regulate all your pressurized water.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Robert, I think we covered it, man. I think we're good. We stuck to a good episode of water supply pipe, and I like it.
Cool.
I think we should just leave it right there. Once again, how do people find you in the Los Angeles area if they want to find you?
Yeah, so my company is Robert Deyl Plumbing, and my phone number is 818-606-4351, and I also have a website, robertdaylplumbing.com.
All right, Robert Deyl. That was a great. Thanks for letting me play with the power tools, man.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm happy to let you try that.
My other guests do not bring toys for me. You're the first one to bring me a toy to play with.
Oh no, and I got some more stuff.
I might repipe the house today. That was actually pretty cool. But before we go, one last thing I got to tell you.
Yes.
I have a running toilet that you need to go catch.
Okay. Have you tried to trip it?
I actually have a running toilet, and I don't feel like fixing it. I don't want to mess with it. I'm too busy. I got too much other shit to do. And Robert is now going to get downstairs and fix my toilet.
Absolutely.
Because he's the man. He's the man. And thanks for coming on the show again.
All right. My pleasure. No, thanks for having me again.
I want to let everybody know Robert was on episode 4, which was way back in September of 21 when I first started my podcast. And we talked about the importance of sewer camera inspections on any type of property, because you never know what you're going to find. So check out that podcast as well. And see you on the next one.
Oh, sounds good, John. Thanks.
I'll see you under a house somewhere eventually. All right, man. Take care.